let's break down the Thursday night opener in Philadelphia that we saw on NBC. And I guess it was all about liquid, coming from people's mouths in the sky, in quarter number 1 and quarter number 3. It started in a way that, I'll say it, I did not expect a rate. And it started with a kickoff and a cart-off and then a send-off. I've never seen a season start that way. As a matter of fact, I've got a stat about Jalen Carter being sent off the field in a Week 1 game that's coming up when we break down that segment in full. But the reason why I bring this up to start the program, obviously the whole country is talking about what happened with Jalen Carter and Dak Prescott, and there's Seinfeld memes everywhere because we didn't find out till the second half that there was a second spitter involved. But Jalen Carter being sent off for the Philadelphia Eagles right before the first snap of the game 100% affected the game in so many different ways, from the way that the Cowboys were able to move the ball up and down the field, from the way that Javonte Williams was being able to run between the tackles, from the way that the Eagles were no doubt reeling from that. Offensively, maybe towards the end of the half when they were unable to keep things maybe going with Jalen Hurts. It just seemed to me that the way this played out, the Eagles were reeling, not just on defense, but just trying to get a sense of normalcy. They just got a flag raise that they weren't out there for, but they raised the banner, and then the season starts so wildly that the Cowboys were able to take advantage of it. And then the Eagles, as we all know, won this game with A.J. Brown not targeted until the fourth quarter. And they got a game in which Jahan Dotson wound up being their leading receiver. They won this game with Saquon Barkley coming up with just 60 yards rushing, fewest yards in a rush game since Week 6 of last year, and he had more than 60 rushing yards in all but one game in 2024. Cleveland was the team that held him to that one non-60-yard rush game in 2024. So Barkley wasn't going off. The defense was missing its top player. Jahan Dotson was their leading receiver. If you had told the Dallas Cowboys before this game that they would be able to affect all that to, yes, stop the run with Kenny Clark, if you told the Cowboys before the game that they were going to be able to do that, they would have signed for it, and we all would have thought the Philadelphia Eagles were going to lose this home opener and banner raise night in front of their home fans, and yet they did not. And they lost Landon Dickerson after the weather delay, an hour-long weather delay that stopped all the scoring and did, for Dickerson, cause his back to tighten up. So they were missing one of their top offensive linemen, which is why it leads me to say this. The Philadelphia Eagles, going into this season, we're looking about what can stop them? Who can stop them? Is it the Lions? Is it the Packers? Is it going to be any team from the NFC West? Could it be the Buccaneers? It's kind of their kryptonite in a way. Could it be the Commanders? Could it be anybody else that I'm not naming right now in the NFC? And at the end of the day, it very well could be the Philadelphia Eagles stopping them, with Jalen Carter doing something insanely stupid, something that happens on an injury front that they can't obviously control. Is it going to be something completely unforeseen that could stop the Philadelphia Eagles from winning a football game? The negative side, obviously, for the Philadelphia Eagles is that they are the first team that's defending a Super Bowl title to play 10 teams from the previous year's playoff field in the upcoming title defense regular season. And last night was not one of those 10 teams. As we all know, the Dallas Cowboys did not famously make the playoffs last year. So, yes, you could sit here and say they struggled against a team that didn't make the playoffs last year. That could be, wait for it, maybe, improved. But they also had things happen to them that they were also self-inflicted that caused them to maybe lose a game at home. Now, You could sit here and say they were lucky that CeeDee Lamb dropped a couple of balls that he's not going to drop in the future. But that also puts him in the category of last year's Kansas City Chiefs, where you're sitting there thinking, well, they're lucky. They got some help from the refs every now and then. Last night, obviously, Philadelphia Eagles fans seeing Jalen Carter sent off before a single snap of football, they would think that maybe the referees weren't their best friend last night. But they didn't play a perfect game, and they went ahead and won anyway. And that is the mark of a champion, but it is also signs of what can stop them this year. And the answer is maybe not another team. Maybe not someone in the AFC that they play. They play the Kansas City Chiefs, the team whose logo is right behind my right shoulder next, in Kansas City, which makes this game pretty darn big for the Chiefs to win tonight here in Brazil. But the Philadelphia Eagles made mistakes last night. Can they clean them up? Yes. But they're also showing what can stand in their way of another championship, while showing at the same time that they're equally as resilient to win it all. And I think that's why Jalen Hurts went up and turned a question he was asked about, did the Cowboys do anything to take A.J. Brown away? Again, 0 targets for their top wide receiver all the way until the final drive of the game, and he was the one who picked up a massive reception to lead to a third down that Jalen Hurts picked up to essentially put the game on ice last night. He turned that opportunity into a chance to maybe calm anything that could be happening already after week 1 in that locker room.
I wouldn't say so. I think they were just doing a really good job of matching things in coverage. And, there's some things we got to be better at. And, great job by him staying patient and in the big moment, right, making a play. Most important play of the game in my eyes. And then we're able to get ourselves in a position to convert that third down and wind down the clock. So great play by him.
Yeah. So it wasn't anything the other team did. They got to clean some things up. And kudos to A.J. Brown for being patient, which is a way of him basically saying, I understand there's some inner excellence zen that's at play right here with his top wide receiver. 0 targets in the fourth quarter. If they lost that game, man, would we be talking about that today. If they lost that game, we would be talking about Jalen Carter 100% costing his team on the night that they were raising the banner, rather than just a boneheaded move that could cause him to be suspended further, which would obviously make the Kansas City Chiefs quite happy if they don't have to see Jalen Carter in week 2 on a Sunday in Arrowhead. But he's basically saying kudos to this guy for remaining calm, and he's being the leader that they need him to be, not just off the field and at the podium. Gents, do you know, with his 2 rushing touchdowns last night, he's now 2 clear of LaDainian Tomlinson for the most 2+ rushing touchdown games in primetime contests in the history of the National Football League. Ooh. Do you know who he trails? By 1, with 8 now.
Primetime
Do you know who
games.
He trails in that
Primetime
department?
games.
I'm just going to shoot for the top, and I'm going to say Emmett or Barry.
Yeah, I was going to say one of those 2 guys, yeah.
You are correct. It is Emmitt Smith with 9. And those 2 rushing touchdowns were the ones that matched Javonte Williams' touchdowns, with Jalen Carter being out in the first half last night. And then he went 19 of 23 for 152 passing yards. And then he picked up the final first down to put the game on ice. Gents, that is the way Jalen Hurts follows up his Super Bowl MVP campaign off of a very impressive postseason. That is the way you also put something in the mind's eye of MVP voters in just week number 1, where he saved some bacon last night with all of the mistakes that were going on in Philadelphia. And that's my opinion of the Philadelphia side of the story, or the, I should say, Philadelphia story. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.